You are looking at a landscape where the soil temperature reaches 60 degrees Celsius. The ground is white with salt. No rain has fallen for 8 months. Conventional wisdom says this land is dead. Experts claim the only way to grow food here is through massive capital investment, plastic pipes, and chemical fertilizers that eventually poison the groundwater. They are wrong. You are told that the desert is an enemy to be fought with technology. In reality, the desert is simply a system where the bank account of energy has been emptied. In 1999, a man stood on a 10-acre plot in the Jordan Valley, 400 meters below sea level. This is the lowest point on Earth, characterized by extreme heat and hyper-aridity. Geoff Lawton, a student of Bill Mollison, did not bring pumps or synthetic nitrates. He brought a transit level, a few bags of seeds, and a deep understanding of how water moves across a landscape. Within 3 years, that salted wasteland was a self-shading food forest. The Greening the Desert project became a legendary case study, proving that we do not have a shortage of water or fertile land. We have a shortage of design. Industrial agriculture relies on a linear model. You extract nutrients, you add synthetic replacements, and you lose energy through heat and runoff. This is why 40% of the world's agricultural land is currently degraded. The old method focuses on the plant in isolation. Permaculture focuses on the relationship between elements. Lawton's work shows that when you stop fighting the sun and start harvesting its energy through biology, the cost of production drops to near zero. The first stage of this system is the management of water through earthworks. In a dry landscape, every drop of rain that leaves the site is a lost opportunity. Lawton utilizes swales. A swale is not a ditch. It is a level bottom trench dug on the exact contour of the land. When rain falls, the water enters the swale and stops. It cannot run downhill. It sits and infiltrates the soil slowly. This creates a plume of hydration underneath the ground that can extend for dozens of meters downslope. While your neighbors are watching their topsoil wash away in a flash flood, your swales are recharging the local aquifer. You are turning the earth itself into a giant, passive sponge. The second stage is the biological carpet. In the Jordan project, the soil was so salty it would kill most commercial crops. Lawton did not flush the salt with fresh water, which is a temporary and expensive fix. Instead, he covered the ground. He used a massive amount of organic mulch, straw, wood chips, and local biomass. This mulch serves 3 functions. First, it prevents evaporation. When bare soil is exposed to the sun, the water moves upward through capillary action, bringing salts to the surface. By shading the soil, you reverse this process. Second, the mulch provides a habitat for fungi. Mycorrhiza, the fungal networks in the soil, act as an external root system for plants, trading minerals for sugars. Third, as the mulch decomposes, it creates humus, which can hold 4 times its weight in water. The third stage is the establishment of pioneer species. You cannot plant an apple tree in the middle of a desert and expect it to survive. You must build a guild. Lawton uses hardy, nitrogen-fixing trees like Acacia, Prosopis, and Casuarina. These are the workhorses of the system. Their roots go deep, breaking up compacted soil. Their leaves fall and provide nitrogen-rich mulch. Most importantly, they create a canopy. This canopy reduces the ground temperature by as much as 15 degrees Celsius. Under this nursery shade, you can then plant your fruit trees, your vines, and your vegetables. You are not just planting a garden, you are building an ecosystem. The fourth stage is the integration of animals, specifically the chicken tractor method. Lawton demonstrates that a flock of chickens, confined to a small area for a short period, can perform the work of a machine. They scratch the ground, removing weeds and aerating the surface. They deposit highly concentrated manure. They eat the larvae of pests. Instead of buying a tractor and fuel, you use the natural behaviors of the bird to prepare the soil for planting. You transition from a consumer of industrial energy to a manager of biological energy. The fifth stage is the vertical stack. In a traditional field, you have 1 layer of production. In a Lawton-designed food forest, you have 7. You have the overstory of nitrogen fixers, the understory of fruit and nut trees, The shrub layer of berries, the herb layer, the ground cover, the rhizosphere of root crops, and the vertical layer of climbing vines. This density produces more calories per square meter than any monocrop wheat field, with a fraction of the labor. Let us look at the economics of this transition. In the first year, your costs are centered on earthworks and seeds. This is your capital investment. By year 3, the pioneer trees have closed the canopy. Your water bill drops by 80% because the soil is now self-shading and moisture retentive. By year 5, the system enters a state of surplus. The trees are producing more mulch than you need. The fruit production exceeds the needs of the household. The system is no longer requiring external inputs like fertilizer or pesticides. You have moved from a system of degenerative agriculture, which costs money every year, to a regenerative system, which pays a biological dividend. The results from the Jordan project were measurable and undeniable. After the first few seasons, the salt levels in the soil dropped significantly. This happened because the increased organic matter and the cooling of the earth allowed the salt to wash down below the root zone rather than being pulled to the surface. The project produced figs, pomegranates, citrus, and a variety of vegetables in a place where people previously thought only scrub brush could survive. This is not a miracle, it is the result of applying the laws of thermodynamics to biology. The primary enemy of the modern farmer is not the weather or the market. It is the reliance on external supply chains. If you depend on a bag of fertilizer, you are a slave to the price of natural gas. If you depend on a pump, you are a slave to the power grid. Geoff Lawton's work is about sovereignty. It is about creating a landscape that functions like a forest. A forest does not need to be weeded, fertilized, or irrigated by humans. It manages its own waste and generates its own fertility. To implement this on your own land, follow the hierarchy of design. Start with the mainframe. This means looking at your water, your access roads, and your structures. Step 1. Map your contours. Find where the water flows and where it can be stored in the soil. Step 2. Establish your water harvesting earthworks. Do this before you plant a single tree. Step 3. Source as much organic matter as possible. Cover every square inch of exposed soil. Bare soil is a wound. Mulch is the bandage. Step 4. Plant your support species first. Focus on nitrogen fixers that grow fast and can handle your local climate. Step 5. Interplant your productive species once the support system is established. The transition requires a shift in mindset. You must stop being a laborer and start being an observer. Spend time watching where the frost lingers, where the wind bites, and where the water pools. In permaculture, the problem is often the solution. If you have a drainage problem, you don't need a pipe. You need a chinampa or a wetland plant guild. If you have a pest problem, you don't need a spray. You need to provide a habitat for the predators of that pest. The legacy of Geoff Lawton and the Greening the Desert project is a blueprint for a future that is not defined by scarcity. We live on a planet that wants to be a forest. Even in the harshest environments, life is waiting for the right conditions to explode. When you align your actions with the cycles of the earth, the seasons, the water cycle, and the fungal succession, you stop spending your life on a battle that cannot be won. You stop mining the soil and start building it. This is more than gardening. This is an act of independence. By creating a self-sustaining food system, you insulate yourself from the volatility of the industrial world. You create a microclimate that is cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. You provide a sanctuary for biodiversity and a legacy for the generations that follow you. The shovel should not be a tool of destruction used to turn the earth over and kill its inhabitants. It should be a tool of creation used to shape the land so that it can hold the life-giving rain. The knowledge is available. The proofs are visible in the sands of Jordan and on thousands of farms across the globe. The only thing missing is your decision to stop following the path of extraction. Look at your land not for what it lacks, but for the energy it is currently wasting. Stop the water, cover the soil, plant the trees, let the biology do the work. The desert is not waiting for more technology. It is waiting for you to understand the language of the earth. Take the first step. Map your contours. Plant a pioneer. Start your own oasis today.